All right, everyone. Um, this is going to be an update about between the Late Show with Stephen Colbert is canceled by CBS because, as far as you don't know, my buddy Jigga Ali over at Steve Jig Media made a recent new vidcast about the Late Show with Stephen Colbert was canceled, and because late night programming was dropped by CBS in due to Skydance, Paramount Skydance merger, and especially the $60 million settlement between Donald Trump and Paramount Global related of the 60 Minutes interview with federal president candidate Kamala Harris. Now, but if you know, this he made a video saying, and Stephen Colbert was an unfunny on the Late Show, but I disagreed because I respect the Late Show with Stephen Colbert was not going to be a funny. Even the president candidate Donald Trump, it was got a lot of recent two turns between 2016 to 2020 to 2017 to 2022, 2024, and 2025 president. So yeah, the reason because if you remember, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert was sort of launched in 2015, was almost is it 10 years ago, because due to reasons that CBS late night revival was pretty much through the roof because in response with the rivals NBC's late night revival was between the Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon and the Late Night with Seth Meyers. Because after the late night with Jimmy Fallon was pretty neat to the past, he moved to another new show, and the Tonight Show with Jay Leno was pretty much in the old news because after the Connor debacle on NBC debacle, because Conor O'Brien was done with NBC and moved to TBS. So that's in 2014 because both of romance between the Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon was gone of late night ratings between the younger dramatic, while the Late Show late night with Seth Meyers will focus more like an older dramatic between the famous segments including a closer look. So that's what I know. And in fact, Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers both came from the Saturday Night Live camp. Is it was a writer of the SNL between and a cast member of the Saturday Night Live and Jimmy Fallon, of course. And Seth Meyers was host of the weekly update. So there's that. So so probably going to be similar to that. So year later, CBS decided and they need to change it up in the late night programming. The late show with David Lebanon and the late late show with Craig Ferguson was going to be pulled on the air off the air because of focus and even need to new and focus on the new improved late night programming. So in we already have so in the 2013 you got the Late Show with James Corden was poor, and then months later the late the Late Late Show with James Corden and the Late Show with and 3 months later the Late Show with Stephen Colbert was both came out at the same time between of in early 2015 to since later half in 2015. So that's the reason why, much like NBC, that's like young dramatic with between the younger and older, between the Late Late Show, James Corden, more focused on the younger dramatic, and the Late Show with Stephen Colbert was focused on the older dramatic. So that's what I know. But between 2014 and 2015, both stations, NBC and CBS, become the great late night revival. And in fact, between the recent years, that the Late Show with Stephen Colbert was already beating the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon at the late night ratings. So, in fact, my buddy Tony Gomak, aka Some Check the Camera, made a joke a bit on the State of the Box 2017-2018 year in the review video.
Moving on to Universal Florida, Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon opened, just in time for Colbert to start kicking Fallon's ass in the late night ratings. Good timing.
So yeah, like I said, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert and the Late Late Show with James Corden was become the most successful late night programming on CBS. Between these segments, the Late Late Show had couple karaoke. Well, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert had the famous "Meanwhile" segment, as well as a lot of stuff. So you love this. The monologues between the Donald Trump president candidate, and especially a lot of others. So that's really a big win for that. Unfortunately, things all things come to a close at CBS because 2 years earlier, the Late Late Show with James Corden was canceled due to bad behavior because of bad behavior of James Corden. So replaced with the After Midnight reboot because and 2 years later they also going to be canceled. 2 years later was also going to be canceled. Uh, After Midnight reboot was also going to be also canceled 2 years later because of low ratings. So what are we doing now? Is this the end of late night programming on CBS? Well, so because a few days ago, or actually 4 days ago, the CBS announced the Late Show with Stephen Colbert was going to be canceled next May next year because and and CBS dropped late night programming entirely because everyone gone sad because the reason because of financial decision, but actually because of the Paramount and Skydance merger, and especially like I said, $6 million lawsuit settlement between Donald Trump and Paramount Global, the CBS parent company, related to the 60 Minutes interview debacle between interview with fellow president candidate Kamala Harris. And the headline and everyone got a lot sadder because the news got a lot of headlines of that. They got on Twitter, aka X, in Facebook, Instagram, the news outlets, and TV stuff, radios, all that stuff. Got a lot of contention for what's going on with the Late Show with Stephen Colbert will be end. Well, if you really know, if you were recent, but Labyrinth said in the intro, this is a quick update because it's pretty much what's going on between the Late Show with Stephen Colbert will be the end of the late night programming. I heard that Donald Trump said Jimmy Kimmel was going to be next, and yeah, I mean, no, I think that Jimmy Kimmel was still air on ABC between after it ended, and yeah, NBC's Tonight Show was starring Jimmy Fallon and Late Night with Seth Meyers, who was still airing, but despite it not going to be canceled, be even a conflict. So, so recently on the report at latenighter.com, talk about the more demands that the 20,000 signs petition demanding the CBS reverse Colbert cancellation because I don't know that anyway. Because I need to know that the CBS need decide. Everyone need to talk to CBS and especially a parent company, Paramount Global need to see reverse decision between the Late Show cancellation and especially CBS drop ended the late night franchise. So if you didn't know, the late night reporter said this in statement. As a backlash of the cancellation, the late show with Stephen Colbert continues to mount. A growing number of viewers, the organizers online, demanding CBS reverse course and keep the top rated network late night show on the air. At last count, more than 2 dozen different petitions had to spread on change.org alone, dropping the collected drama over the 336,000 signatures. MoveOn.com petition got over the 67,000 supporters, and while the petition hosted by the Petitions Change campaign comment community passed 220,000 signatures. The central response to the petition of the CBS decision appears political motivating and policy relation. CBS announced they is to cancel the Late Show just days after the Stephen Colbert criticized on air the recent settlement between the President Trump and Paramount Global, the CBS parent company, calling the big fat pride. The Move On petition notes the cancellation was deeply upset. The petition continues. We need to stop corporations like CBS for cowering and political in mind of this emulation. The petition campaign change campaign community echoed that message in their petition, calling the timing blatant political and American needs Stephen Colbert voice now more than ever. That petition reads, citing Senator Elizabeth Warren, warning that that can move came just 3 days after CBS Colbert came out CBS parent company Paramount for the $60 million settlement with Trump, and the deal looks like a bribery. The viewers who signed the petition were shy about the motivations. Colbert speaks the truth. Help us to laugh about the mean old granny that now runs the our land, or wrote the one signer. Another ad, Trump is a science critic. Among the 30 petitions of at change.org and Outrage, they extended beyond political to cultural, viable, and free speech. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert has not only the platform for humor, but also served as a critical in the American media. One petition states, it's a cultural invitation that brings people together, provide a laugh and reversion at the long days. Petition signed Kennedy from Carleton said, Colbert's turn of a face of a sense of humor that has helped me to keep the possible outlook since I watching during the 2016 election season. If CBS take away to this value to television program, viewers are where viewers like me supposed to find some respect. Another commenter, Aline from Savannah, Georgia, said, "My husband just passed away recently, and who will be the desperate to hear the news. Every night at 11:30, we would turn off Colbert and have some great laughs. Stephen Colbert helped us through the night and ready the next day. Don't let them voice the truth, and the laughs will also die. And some supporters embrace the importance of the media diversity. I am the consulted lean independent one signing forward. Everyone deserved to have a voice regarding if we agreed and disagreed with what that voice said. Keep CBS, keep this show for people who loved it and for the diversity that lends to the various voice out there. So just realize that, just a recap, CBS canceled the Late Show and it dropped the late night programming entirely. Then the petition the need to reverse course about the Late Show with Stephen Colbert cancellation. The petition gone of 20,000 signed petitions. People were saved. People want to save the Late Show, and most important, I probably mentioned that the network CBS has claimed they lost $40 million on the Late Show this season, and the points to lose more of with each passing year. Now, look, ever since after the post Hollywood strikes, and especially the programming on parent company Paramount lost a ton of money, and especially as the company gone on sales. Then recently Paramount and Skydance merger was upon us, and the reason that the Late Show was gone, a lot of problems. And there's liquid petitions. The reason that 8454 thousand 44 signatures. There's 87. There's a 131 549 people signatures, and 32nd for 22 26 6 26 6 signed petitions. So it's pretty much that the reason the only problem that the Late Show with Stephen Colbert was going to be ended in the wake of the what describe. Oh yeah, Paramount Skydance merger, and especially David Ellison. So the reason because I don't trust. Look, I am boycotting Paramount Skydance movement because of David Ellison, and I much like David Zaslav over Warner Bros. Discovery. This David Ellison was evil. He destroyed everything. They canceled a lot of shows like The Tiny Chef Show, Bruce Cruz and You, and it might be possibly cancel South Park since South Park was removed in the Paramount Plus streaming service overseas. So I have to say to all the fans for watching my channel, if you're going to save the Late Show with Stephen Colbert without cancellation, you need to say you the Late Show to David Edison to stop all the entire bullshitting and cancel stuff between the merger. So I boycott Paramount and Skydance and especially David Edison. We need to save The Late Show with Stephen Colbert without cancellation because The Late Show with Stephen Colbert wants to be the best, if not the best late night show on CBS. Yes, The Late Late Show with James Corden came first. But this is what will become the most successful late night show. The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon came second. So we need help. All we have to do, link in the description, and please support at petitions between all these links, including this, and this, and save. And please, you need to save the Late Show with Stephen Colbert without cancellation because of Paramount and Skynet's merger and the $60 million lawsuit settled between Trump and Paramount. So we need to help. Link in the description. Please hashtag Save the Late Show, hashtag boycott Paramount, hashtag boycott Skydance, and hashtag fire David Ellison. We really need to do something better. If the Late Show was going to be continue on airing until cancellation, maybe it's wrong because the Late Show with Stephen Colbert is still here, and the late night programming is now going to be declining. You see, the late night programming was pretty much gone declining because of streaming boom, because of the Everyone's Life when John Mulaney was came out on the Netflix. So we need help, but the late night programming was probably much in the end. First, maybe after the Late Late Show with James Corden, that's where we other want to know, and especially the recent The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, does want to know what's going on with next with the cancel late night programming. That I mean, Jimmy Kimmel Live was going to be could be canceled next. So maybe we'll see. So spread the word, everyone. Please sign the petitions between the need on reverse course between the Late Show with Stephen Colbert's cancellation. So link in the description. Please save the Late Show and let's boycott Paramount and Skydance because of the David Ellison. In fact, David Ellison was a Trump supporter, so shame on him because no one cares, David, Mr. Ellison. You need to get the head out and you need to fire. You become the new David Sassaf. So screw you, David Ellison, and screw you, Paramount, Skydance, and CBS. We need to save the Late Show with Stephen Colbert without cancellation. Once again, link in the description below to save the petitions and check out a video from Studio Jake about the cancellation of the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. So link in the description. So please, whenever, as a wise man once said, don't be on the cancellation of the TV networks. Be positive. Be anything. Be nice. Because the Late Show with Stephen Colbert was not going to be canceled in the parallel universe. Without Donald Trump, second term president, there's one thing I have to say. And that thing, this Late Show, late night programming, will live on. So that was our video for today. And please save the Late Show with Stephen Colbert without cancellation. Link in the description to more details about the petitions. And as a wise man once said, we need to save the Late Show. You son of a bitch. And that's pretty much it. This is the longest video ever. So please support the Late Show. Please save the Late Show without cancellation. And please boycott Paramount, Skydance, and especially soon to be CEO David Ellison. So thank you for watching and good night.